What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Bare Minimum. I'm your host, Brandon, joined by Dustin Jones. What's going on, Dustin?
Hey, Brandon. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to everybody in the chat.
Bring it in half awake, right?
Yeah, it's been a long couple weeks, man. I'm tired
Yeah,
as hell.
I know you just got out of work, man. How was your New Year's, though? Did you work through it?
Yeah, I worked all day, but I still partied
Did you
with the
watch that
family.
the Channel 7 countdown?
Bearski, what up?
What's going on, guys?
Nah, man. Nah, I didn't. Why you asking that?
That was strange.
It's always
It's
strange, dude.
Yeah,
Those
it
people
was
are always
weird,
weird.
man. I don't know. It was like just a random couple. I don't know who they were. I'm sure they're somebody in the world of showbiz, but like they were, I think, uncomfortable with the camera being on them after the countdown was over. Like they just kept like seeing the camera and then like kissing, and then they were like pretending to dance. Kind of, it was weird, man. It's very weird. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to see Carson Daly's face, so I was like, yeah, it's all right. I can tolerate this, but it was very strange. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
mine was chill, man. Stayed at home. We made some crab legs. Had a kick in the
Nice.
new year, man. Yeah, had a
Very
good day.
cool.
Fell asleep,
Had
woke up
tamales.
just in time for the countdown. Then went back to bed. Hope everybody out there had a happy, healthy, safe New Year's, guys. Obviously, we haven't really had too much content for you, but we are back. We've had some issues, obviously the holidays, but then in regards to health, we've run into directly and indirectly with our families, guys. So we are back, and obviously not much to talk about in regards to that Bears Seahawks game that occurred Thursday night,
What a
except for the
way
fact,
to end Thursday night football for the season.
yeah,
The 3-6 slobber.
yeah. And then like just it's like sums up the Bears, right? The game they don't allow a touchdown, they can't score one. So
Yeah, the Bears
yeah,
suck.
but we're gonna do something different here, guys. We're gonna go into headlines and deadlines early tonight. All right, Dustin?
Let's do it, man.
Oh,
Whatever you want to do, you call the shots. I'm too tired, dude.
yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna dive too deep into a preview of this Bears Packers game, guys. But so we've got some headline. I did write up some headlines, deadlines for this week. Dustin, let's start with number one. The college football playoffs have sucked so far and will be 8 teams by 2026.
Well, dude, I messaged you guys that like the biggest takeaway from these games so far, this was after the first set of games, is that 12 teams is too many fucking teams, man. Like there's just been blowouts. Now that Texas Arizona State game was a hell of a game. And if you don't have 12 teams, Arizona State does not make it. Arizona State played their asses off. They played really hard in that Big 12
Well, and they
championship
have a
too.
they have a player that legitimately could have been a Heisman finalist. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know about Scattaboo's pro future, to be quite honest. Kind of
well, no,
reminds
there's
me of
then
Cody
most
Gerhart.
most analysts are saying like he'll be used in some way, but like a Taysom Hill, like
Yeah,
he'll
but
be
that was a
utilized.
good game. That was a good game, man. And Notre Dame kicked ass today, so that was cool to watch. I mean, Georgia didn't have their starting quarterback, so that kind of sealed it up for them. But I could see I really think they should, man. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I've been thinking. Like I think 8 teams makes total sense. No buys, just
Yeah,
tighten this up a little
especially
bit, man. Get the best
especially no
teams in there.
bias, because I think Oregon lost to Ohio State because of bias. I'm going to be
Oregon
honest.
lost to Ohio State because they sucked. I mean,
And
if you're saying they sucked because they weren't in
yeah,
a rhythm.
Ohio State played a week ago. Oregon hasn't played in like 3 weeks, man. It's
Yeah,
like, what the
yeah,
hell
yeah,
is that all
for
about,
sure.
dude?
Yeah, I don't like the buys in the college playoff. I don't like the amount of teams. I'm fine with a couple teams missing out, man. I mean, there was a lot of teams that had no business playing in this college football playoff, as far as I'm concerned. So get it down to 8, man. It's obviously just a money grab for these guys to,
So, but
to.
do you think? Yeah, it is. It's a money grab. But do you think
Mhm.
the NCAA will? So the headline or deadline was by 2026 they will realize it's better off with any.
No, no, because they'll still see the
Just
money.
yeah, because they're yeah.
They're gonna follow the
I
money.
agree. I would agree. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
It's
I
a
would love to see
deadline
it,
for
but
that reason. Yeah.
What up, Shorty? How you doing, man? Thanks for
Shorty,
joining.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy
Much
New
love to
Year,
you as
dude.
well, brother.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Shorty,
Love your channel.
guys, all you guys in the chat, please say headline, deadline when I'm reading these up. Dustin, number two, regardless of his public statement, Marcus Freeman will pursue an NFL head coaching job next offseason.
Next, or you mean like next year and the next offseason?
Like this one coming up here.
Didn't he just get an extension? Didn't Notre Dame just lock him up for multiple years? I don't know, man.
And he also said, "I'm the coach of the Irish," but
coaches do this shit all the time.
It's different when you get called from the big leagues, man. Like I
don't see Marcus Freeman going anywhere this offseason. No. I mean, if he just signed a deal, an extension, he's gonna carry it through for a couple more years. But I would love to see him be an NFL head coach.
Well, let me ask you this: what if he wins a championship?
I think that's probably more reason for him to stay.
I think that's the reason for him to go. If he achieves that.
Bruce says deadline. I agree with you, Bruce. I would love this. I brought up Freeman a month or so ago as a potential candidate for the Bears head coaching job. Shortly after that, they locked him up to a further extended deal. That defense is phenomenal. He's got a lot of energy. That dude don't mess around. I think he's going to try to establish something at Notre Dame, though, man. I mean, it's a hell of a job to have, dude. The Notre Dame job. Maybe he will be an NFL head coach at some point, but not this offseason, man. No.
Okay. So we're saying that you're saying deadline.
I'm saying deadline, yeah.
I'm saying headline. I think that he gets a call and he pursues it. I'm saying headline.
Nah, that's not happening, man. I mean, the Bears would be the only thing I would entertain if I was him.
All right, we're going to dive
into all the jobs available.
We're diving into the NFL now. Given the circumstances and adversity, Sam Darnold is this season's MVP.
No. I mean, Lamar, it's a two-person race to me. Sam Darnold is most improved player without a doubt. That's a deadline, man. He's not gonna touch the top three.
No, he's not going to win it. What I'm asking you is, he is this season's true MVP.
No, Lamar Jackson is to me. Lamar Jackson is to me. This guy is unstoppable. He's the most dangerous weapon in the NFL. Sam Darnold has had a hell of a season, and I respect the hell out of him for what he's done, man. He's continued to defy the odds, and it's been a match made in heaven with him.
And Joe Burrow's going to throw close to 50 touchdowns.
Joe Burrow is I mean, it's a two-person race between Josh Allen and Lamar. Josh Allen's going to win it. I mean, if you're talking about the true MVP, it's probably Joe Burrow. I mean, he's overcome so much deficiency on that defense this year to even have his team have a chance at the playoffs. No, I don't think so. I don't agree with that. No, I'm saying it's a deadline. Sam Darnold has had a great season. He should be commended for it, and he's going to get a hell of a deal because of it, and he's going to stay the Vikings quarterback.
And he will win most improved player this year.
No doubt. And they're going to make some noise in the playoffs too, man.
Unless they do some political, because DeMar Hamlin is back there again because he has 80 tackles and 2 interceptions. He's back in the conversation. All right.
Real quick. Shorty says Josh McCown is my choice for Bears head coach. Make fun of me all you want. I mean, Josh McCown.
Your opinion's yours.
Well, isn't he the quarterback's coach for Sam Darnold?
Yeah, he's the Minnesota quarterback coach.
Yeah. I mean, that he's done some great things this year. Obviously, he's a part of something that's.
And I think he won a college championship as a coach.
I mean, I don't know that it's that big of a stretch, man. Honestly, I won't make fun of you for that. Bearsky says he 100% will.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Shorty, your opinion's your own. I don't want Josh McCown's back, but I think he's gonna get some calls for sure.
I think the next logical step for Josh McCown is offensive coordinator for a team.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean this offseason. I think Kevin O'Connell trusting him is gonna do a lot for his career. But all right, so we're gonna say what?
It's a deadline for Darnold as the true MVP. I mean, He's had a great season, but there's guys that have just dominated the league this year, man.
Okay, so Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel will both take head coaching jobs with other organizations by preference.
That was a very unclear question in how you asked it. Other organizations besides the Bears, is that what you were referring to?
Yes, that are not the Chicago Bears. Yes.
I mean, if it were me, I would want the Bears head coaching gig of all these jobs just because of the challenge, just because of the fact that if you do turn this organization around, you're a hero in this city forever. And if you're a head coach, you should have that competitive edge where you want to be that person. And I think Vrabel and Johnson are both those guys.
He's going to get some votes, Shorty. Sorry, Dustin. Shorty, Goff's going to get some votes.
Yeah, but he ain't going to come close to winning.
Barkley and Goff will get votes, but they won't be finalists.
Yeah, no, Goff has had a really good season, man, but he's not on the level of these guys that are actually competing for that.
So sorry, I cut you off, Dustin. You said that you would take this job as the Bears head coach, but what do you think of? I said Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel will both, by preference, take head coaching jobs with other organizations.
Something I really want to dive into, man, off of what you're talking about, and I've mentioned it previously. The Bears have the toughest proposition as a head coach if you want to be successful immediately. The Bears are in the NFC North, the toughest division in football. You got the Lions and the Vikings playing this Sunday for the chance to be the number 1 seed or the number 5 seed, depending on how that goes. And those are the 2 top teams in the NFC right now, the way it's playing out, man. And they're not going to get worse next year. I don't see how or why. The Packers are not going to get worse next year. So you're in the NFC North if you take this Bears job, and you're not going to win your division next year. I don't care what happens. The Bears are not winning the NFC North next year, man. So you're really taking on a tough challenge, and you're not going to be successful right away. You got to be patient. You know, if you go to a place like Jacksonville, or you go to a place like New Orleans, or even a place like the New York Jets, you have a much easier path to quick success because those divisions are just not as strong as this division. You have to really consider that. So if you're talking about preference, if I'm a head coach and I'm considering where I have the path of least resistance in terms of becoming successful as quickly as possible, the Bears are the lowest on my list because it's just going to be in really freaking hard, man, to establish yourself in this division.
I agree with you, Dustin. Ben Johnson will know a lot about that this division is tough to win in. And I agree because the Raiders is the second worst job because it's the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs. That's you're not looking at it. You're not if you're taking the Raiders job, you're not looking at the same thing. You're not looking at a division that's going to get any worse anytime soon, right?
No, it's going to stay very competitive next year, and you got to think about that if you're looking for a job as a head coach. And then you throw on all the organizational dysfunction and bullshit that the Bears seem to come with no matter who they hire. And this becomes maybe not as desirable of a job as we tend to think. You know, this C that's on the top of my head, it means a lot in the NFL. It means a lot to us as fans, but there's a lot of factors at play here when it comes to where these head coaches are going to choose to go.
It's got a lot of burden. Yeah.
And like you said, man, Ben Johnson knows better than anybody else how tough this fucking division is. So does he want to stay in it and compete against?
So let me ask you again. Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel, by preference, choose other organizations over the Bears.
Man, I'm going to say deadline when you're talking about those guys in particular, because I think they're both very confident dudes, and they think that they can find ways to win and make their team successful. And if you're going to do it, why not do it in the toughest division in football with the charter franchise of the NFL, man, in a city that you will be walking on water if you can turn this team around. Shorty says sign McCown up as the OC right now. I'm all for that, man. I mean, coming with some KOC principles and the success he's had with Josh McCown this year as a quarterback's coach.
And I think he won a high school championship as a head coach, which is like, and I think he won a high school championship as a head coach, which is like, he went there for one season and just like won it. You know what I mean? Like it was like
Yeah, you said college earlier. I didn't.
or no, sorry, no. He coached high school for a season. I'm pretty sure he won a championship and then got called back to the NFL. Like, okay,
Hey,
all
we
right.
got a
So
new person in here, man. Quaxon.
yeah, that's what I said to you, Quaxon. What's up, Quaxon? Happy New
Welcome.
Year, Quaxon.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Please come back and check us out.
I don't like Kingsbury as the head coach, Quaxon. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, I really do think that this guy is an offensive coordinator. I think I listen, guys get opportunities as head coaches and it might be too early, and then you see them come back around and figure it out. That has happened. But I don't like taking that chance with this Chicago Bears franchise. I want somebody who has less variables in terms of failure. And I think Cliff Kingsbury is just, yeah. I want to decrease the risk as much as possible. I think a guy like Vrabel does that for me. That's why I'm so stuck on Mike Vrabel as the best option for the Chicago Bears team as the head coach. Now you pair him with Josh McCown as your offensive coordinator, and I'm all for that, man. That sounds pretty fucking interesting to me. I like that, Shorty. Thanks for bringing that up. But Cliff Kingsbury is not somebody I would want to take a chance on. He has that relationship with Caleb, like you point out.
He's also if a Mike Vrabel hired a Cliff Kingsbury as an offensive coordinator, I'd be just fine with that. I would be
but there's no reason for Kingsbury to go anywhere.
No,
He's got
to make a
Jaden Daniels.
lateral.
Yeah. That's not happening. You would only take a head coaching job, but I don't want to be in Chicago.
Okay, so Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, you said deadline. I agree. I think one of those guys will be the Bears head coach, to be honest with you, man. Okay, next. Headline or deadline, guys. Brock Bowers is going to be a better player than Travis Kelce.
Brock Bowers is the top tight end in the Pro Bowl, right? He just took that over Kelce. I mean, Brock Bowers.
He broke Ditka's record, in more games. And
he also, what's the other record he broke, Brandon? Do you know that? Puka Nakua's rookie reception record. He broke that as well from the tight end position.
I think he broke rookie tight end touchdown receptions, didn't he?
No, yeah, for sure. But I'm saying just total receptions. He took that from Puka Nakua, who just said
I'm just saying though,
year.
he broke Mike Ditka's yards in 16 games. Mike Ditka set that record in 14 games. So
for sure.
He didn't theoretically break that record.
Shorty, I want to say, I understand you're talking about him as head coach. I'm just saying I'm not willing to go that far right now, but I would love to see him as the OC. We'll just leave it at that. No, man, Brock Bowers is going to be a really
I'm saying headline. He's going to be a better player than Travis Kelce. I'm saying headline.
There's too many factors at play here for me to say that.
I think and I thought about this. I think he's going to be better without Patrick Mahomes. Because he doesn't have Patrick Mahomes.
Travis Kelce has won 3 Super Bowls, Brandon.
He's probably going to have Cam Ward.
Travis Kelce does, if you're talking about a tight end, Travis Kelce does things better than Brock Bowers ever will in terms of blocking in the run game, blocking in the pass game. I mean, maybe Brock Bowers develops the feel for his quarterback once he gets established with a quarterback. He'll never have a quarterback at the level of Patrick Mahomes, like you're saying, but Kelce just finds ways to get open in the biggest moments when everybody knows that that's where Patrick Mahomes is going to go.
It's got a lot to do with coaching too.
No, I think a lot of it has to do with feel for zone coverages, feel for the moment, feel for their quarterback, man. I don't know how much coaching comes into even play there. I'm not ready to say Brock Bowers will be a better tight end than Travis Kelce. You're saying headline. I'll say deadline, man. Just in terms of how you judge a player's career and their resume. Travis Kelce has established a resume that's going to be really hard to fuck with.
Right, because the Super Bowls probably won't come with Bowers, but I think statistically he'll definitely be a better player.
I mean, statistically, I look at him as more of a Tony Gonzalez, Brock Bowers, like a receiving tight end, like the guy that's going to break all the receiving records. But Tony Gonzalez will never be considered better than Rob Gronkowski, Brandon. Never. because Robert Gronkowski as a tight end was a total package. He could block, he could receive, and he won multiple Super Bowls, which Tony Gonzalez never did. So
I mean, I
like,
don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know a
think
lot
it'll be
about.
close.
Is Brock Bowers like an egregiously bad blocker? I don't know a whole lot about his blocking.
I mean, he's not bad. He's not good either. He's not known for it. He's more of a receiver at the tight end position, as far as I'm concerned. Can he develop that? Yeah, for sure. But I don't know that he has the body size to ever be as good as a guy like Gronk or Travis Kelce. Another Joe Walters. Have you seen this name before?
Yeah, we've seen. Yeah.
I've never seen Joe Walters before, man. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. He says, how do you guys feel about Braxton Jones at guard if the Bears draft a tackle? Dude, I don't.
Joe, I think if he could have played that, he might have already.
Well, who do you replace him with at left tackle, though? That doesn't make any sense.
Like, when you were short all those guards, you were short like 5 guards at one point, man.
Yeah, but you don't weaken one position to try to fill in the gaps at another. Like that doesn't make any sense.
I don't see Braxton Jones. I see Braxton Jones being a left tackle on another team if he's not the Bears left tackle.
Yeah,
Braxton Jones is a very tradable. I don't know though. Joe, I'll say this: the injury Braxton Jones just suffered is really bad, really bad. So even if they liked Braxton Jones as a starter, I don't know when he'll be healthy to play again.
I don't want any piece of Braxton. I've always thought Braxton Jones was replacement level, not good enough to be a left tackle. I don't know that he has the versatility to swing inside to the guard position. I would rather get an actual guard in the draft or in free agency and just roll it that way. I think this whole offensive line needs to be replaced besides Darnell Wright, man. I really do. I don't want any of these guys next year. I want them all replaced. Shorty is really stuck on this Josh McCown thing. Would you rather have McCown as a head coach now if you knew he was going to be a great head coach in 3 years, or wait for another? I mean, if I knew, then I would just hire him for sure. If I was sure that he's going to be a great head coach in 3 years, then yeah, that's worth the investment, And like I was just saying, the Bears are not going to be competitive in this NFC North next year. I don't expect that. So you are right. This is going to be another kind of rebuilding season coming up, I think. Because when you consider the competition in the NFC North, so I mean it's not the craziest thing that you're suggesting, man. Because you can grow all these things together, the talent and the coaching. But
Joe says something I want. Joe says it's just too hard. I think he said to find 4 new starters on the. Joe, I agree with you, and that's why I firmly believe one of these guys, if it's Pryor or Bates.
Oh God!
One of these guys is going to be your starting guard next season. I think your left tackle, your center, and one of your guards will be replaced. I don't know if it's Tevin Jenkins or if it's Matt Pryor or Mark Pryor, whatever.
It needs to be Tevin Jenkins, man. You can't re-sign this guy. How do you justify re-signing Tevin Jenkins? How do you do it?
Saying one of these guys will be back to be a starting guard.
Yeah, I'm saying it can't be Tevin Jenkins.
No, I thought you said it needed to be Tevin Jenkins.
Well, I thought you phrased it in the way of one of these guys will be replaced. I think Tevin Jenkins is the guy.
No, you heard replaced. I said I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Oh yeah. Come over here. Let's do it. Let's cut the show short and let's just fucking fight.
I don't want any trouble with your cats. All right.
Anyways.
We have another I've got more deadlines. You want to just let's keep going with this, right? I said headline, you said deadline. Thomas Brown should have allowed Carlos Santos to attempt the 57-yard field goal to tie the game in the final moments of the game against Seattle last Thursday night. His longest made 55.
I mean, you had a better chance of that than you did at
anything
converting on that 4th down.
So this was just more poor late game management, and it's not.
I mean, what does that say about your kicker, though? That your coach does not have faith in them.
It says your kicker's your most replaceable position on your roster. That's what it says.
Hey, Cliff Victoria found us. What up, dude? Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
What's up,
Finally,
Cliff?
We've
Happy
been like,
New Year, bud.
We talk about you every show, Cliff.
Yeah, we were wondering where you're at, Cliff. We expect more from our varsity lettermans. That's
All
their
right,
breakfast
Shorty, we
cup.
got you, man. McCown is your guy. And listen, I hope you're right about that. I don't see him getting any head coaching looks this offseason from any team. So, I mean, you got to be the smartest guy in the room to get ahead of that. So, Santos is 55 yards, no more. Yeah, I mean, the Bears need an actual current present day NFL
Right,
kicker.
but headliner deadline, Thomas Brown should have attempted the 57-yard field goal.
Well, Joe Walters says it right here. It all comes down to what Santos was making in pregame. Thomas Brown clearly knew something where he was not comfortable. He thought his odds were better going
Yeah,
forward on
because
fourth
well,
down than
he put
kicking
the
that field goal.
punter out. He put the punter out, Dustin. Oh no, he
I'm
put the
sorry.
punter out after they lost the guard. They put the punter out after they lost the yards to the penalty. Yeah, no. All right, my
Yeah, no,
next one's
listen.
hold on.
It's
I got four more for you, but my next one's my favorite. All right, and I want Cliff, Shorty, Bruce, all you guys out there. I want to
Joe
hear what you have to
Walters.
say.
Don't leave out Joe Walters and Quaxon.
Joe Walters, Quaxon,
Bruce
headline of
Fam.
deadline. Jim Harbaugh will get his revenge from the Super Bowl 47 loss against his own brother, John, in the first round of the playoffs when the Ravens host the Chargers in 2 weeks from Sunday.
Well, that's a tough one, man, because there's a lot of variables to even if that's even going to happen. The Steelers could end up going to Baltimore potentially if they don't win.
No, wait, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
When they
No, yes, they can. 100%.
announced on TV that the Harbaugh brothers will play each other against will play against one another in the playoffs.
No, that's not set, dude. I can tell you that 100%. That is not
Okay,
set.
well, as it
If the
stands right
Steelers
now,
lose, yeah.
as it stands right now, they do. So the
Okay,
headline
but you
deadline
need
still stands,
the Steelers to lose on
which they will.
on
Which they
Sunday
will.
to the Bengals, and then the Chargers. And the Chargers, don't the Chargers need to lose too? No, yeah. There's a multiple ways that this could still pan out, man. Listen, if the Ravens do play the Chargers in the playoffs, first of all, that'll be a hell of a game, and I would love to see it. And I would bet on Jim Harbaugh all the way. I love this Chargers team. I loved them in the
So it's a
preseason. I told you
headline.
guys they were a
It's a
playoff
headline.
team. Hell yeah, you got playoff Lamar showing up, man. Chargers defense coming up big.
You can't play off Lamar showing up.
Lad McConkey killing it against that
Bruce
terrible secondary.
says headline.
Yeah, hell
Bruce.
yeah. Yeah, hell
All
yeah.
right. This
So
next
yeah,
one,
I would love to see that, man. Let's go, Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. So I think I'm
And he
saying,
would be avenging a loss from earlier this season too, Brandon. They lost to them earlier
yeah,
this
they
season.
did play each other. I think I'm
Yep.
saying headline too. All right. The Eagles are doing the right thing by sitting Saquon Barkley, who is only 100 yards shy of breaking Eric Dickerson's single-season record.
If only McCaskies and Warren could have put their egos away and hired Harbaugh. I know, right? Yep. Victoria. All the things that could have been with this fucking Bears team, and we all get to just sit here and think about it.
It'd be nice to have a culture or an identity or something like that. Dustin, did you hear my headline?
I did. 1 sec. I got to go to bed, Shorty says, but you have not heard the last of me on McCown. McCown is the next Harbaugh. Mark my
We
word.
love you, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty. Thanks for joining us, man. Hit that like button before you go if you haven't already. But we appreciate you, man. And listen, like I said, I hope you're right. I just think there's some steps that this guy needs to take for his career trajectory to start getting considered for the role of head coach. Your headliner deadline was, are the Eagles doing the right thing by sitting Saquon Barkley this week ahead of the playoffs? Is it it's the smart thing for sure. I mean, you want to protect it. If you don't have Saquon, if he were to get injured, your season's done. You don't have a chance. So it's the smart thing. I don't think it's the right thing. I would really want my player to get that record. I would really want to do everything I could to help him get that record and not just bow out gracefully. Saquon says he's at peace with it, man. He's all good because he's focused on the bigger picture, which is a Super Bowl. So, I mean, I guess it's the right thing, man. Again, if it were me, it would be important to me for my player to hit that, have a chance to hit that mark, break Eric Dickerson's record and get him to shut the hell up finally. But hey, it's the right thing for them. It's the right thing for them. They're focused on the playoffs. So good for them. It's a smart move for sure. And hopefully it pays off for him. I like that Eagles team, man. I really do. And Saquon's a hell of a player. Cliff Victoria says, guys, that's Dan from BCP. Yeah. Shorty from Bears Country.
And remember, Dustin, I think earlier this season.
We're talking Cliff. Just so you know, I emailed Shorty already. We're talking about getting together and doing something. So we appreciate you with that, making that suggestion, man. Yeah, Shorty joins us on Thursday often, and I join them on Thursdays too.
Saquon Barkley had the chance to break, I think it was the single game yards record for the franchise. I think Tiki Barber had it, and he was like 12 yards away. And he sat down. And Sirianni
played for the Eagles.
Or sorry, who was it, man?
Yeah, no, there was something on the line. I remember, and they benched him.
Who was it? Who's the Eagles running back? Who was it?
I don't fucking remember. I do remember though that this is par for the course for them in terms of how they approach things. They're not focused on the individual accolades.
So they got caught on a hot mic. Sirianni sits down next to him and he says to him, like, I want to put you in. Do you want to play a few? Do you want to play this drive to get the record? And Saquon says, "Let the young guys play. Let the young guys play. I'm good." And he's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "I'm good." So Saquon Barkley, I'm telling you, of all the people who could give less of a shit about this record being broken, is Saquon Barkley. And
I also think that about him.
I also think Saquon Barkley's wrapped his head around the fact that the record that he's trying to break was set in 16 games, and he's going to try to break it in 17. So he didn't break it anyways. You know what I mean?
I don't buy into any of that. The record's the record. Listen, I think what matters to Saquon is winning in the playoffs, having a championship. I think he's a smart dude. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he wants to win a Super Bowl. So this is what makes the most sense for that. So
LaShawn McCoy, I think, was the person that Barkley.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But then there was something on the line, and he was totally cool with not even going for it and just.
No, he told his coach on the bench, "I'm content sitting here." All right,
we got Independent Aquaman joining us. What up, man? Thank you for joining us.
So wait, you kind of gave. You said they're doing the smart thing, not the right thing. So you're saying deadline?
No, it's a headline, man. It's the right thing across the board. I personally would want my player to go for it, but that would be stupid, probably.
All right, Keenan Allen will receive an extension this offseason.
Listen, this guy's been balling out the last half of this
in
season.
The red zone, especially.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been killing it.
He catches touchdowns, dude. He's dropped a lot of passes, though.
Listen, man, Keenan Allen seems to be a great leader in this locker room, but at the same time, this is a 4-win team, and we don't need more receivers. We don't need to spend money on that. It's a deadline to me. It would be a poor allocation of assets. Yeah. It would be a poor allocation of assets to put big money into Keenan Allen, unless you're going to trade DJ Moore, which that doesn't make any sense either. So Cliff Victoria points out here, Keenan's family's still in California. They didn't move to Chicago. Looks at offers from maybe it goes back to the Chargers, huh? Double dips on that. That'd be interesting. I don't think it makes sense in Chicago. I don't think it makes sense for the Bears to pay him, man. That's a deadline.
No, I think it would make sense for him to go to Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, that's a quick little drive to Cali.
Jacoby Myers and Keenan Allen, and he's close to home, right? You got yourself your receiving core. All right, I got one more deadline for you, Dustin.
What's that?
The Vikings, whom host the Detroit Lions Sunday, while both tied 14-2, will win the number 1 seed.
Deadline. The Lions are winning this game, dude. We got a Lions fan in here in Independent.
In Minnesota?
Yeah, man. Yeah. The Lions are just, they have this feel to me, man. Like the like they're the Chiefs of the NFC, where they just find ways to win games no matter what the fuck it costs.
Listen,
Dan
I'm
Campbell has
gonna
his
say
team
this.
ready to
I'm gonna
play
say this.
every game,
I'm gonna say
every
this,
game.
man. I agree with you. This team is destined to like go win this thing, man. But since they've suffered all these season-ending injuries, they've played bums, and they got torn up by San Francisco. Right? 'Cause this
I mean,
defense
if
is
it weren't for
missing.
two terrible Brock Party throws, that
Yeah,
game,
this
that
defense
game.
is missing a lot of pieces. The Vikings offense can find a weakness in this Detroit team.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, Brandon, it can go both ways, though. That game did not matter to Detroit in terms of the standings, in terms of this game this Sunday. It meant nothing. And the Lions still fought their asses off to win it. That's why
I
I'm
told
picking
you
the
that.
Lions.
Campbell's not that guy. He's always
No,
gonna
no,
they're gonna punt.
I already knew that. I'm just saying, I was just giving you the information that game meant nothing to them. That's all I was giving you. And he had already said that he would be playing all of his players and they were going to go ball out. And they found a way to win a game that didn't mean anything and that they should have lost again. And I just think that that's the type of team they are, man. Through all these injuries, they continue to figure it out, and it just has that feel to me of like we'll keep doubting these guys, and they feed off of that. They feed off of that hardcore.
I don't know that anybody's doubting them.
No, people are. It's been happening. It's been happening nationally, and the Vikings do make sense as the team that you would pick to win this game on Sunday, and I believe they're 1.5 point favorites. So and they're at home, man. So if you swing that, you get the 3 points, the obligatory 3 points for being at home. So I mean, if this were on a neutral field, the Lions are favorites, and that's with all the injuries. The Lions are they're smart. They don't make mistakes. They know what to do on every single play, man. I can't find a way to doubt this team.
But Dustin, they are in a position where they have to outscore their opponent.
Huh?
They've managed to do it week in and week out, unless they played like they played the Bills and they got messed up. And this Vikings team is kind of comparative to a team like the Bills, where they can torch you, man. They can put up 40 something points on you. I would not be shocked, man, if by halftime that game's 21-10 Vikings.
I would. I don't see either team running away with this game. This is going to be a nail biter down to the wire. Every play fucking matters. And I think Jameer, the key to that game,
Jameer
Brandon,
Gibbs is why I think the Vikings The Vikings have done such a good job, man, at containing quality running backs, and he is their heart and soul. He really is. As good as Jared Goff has been, guys, as good as Amon-Ra and Laporta and Williams and this pass catching core is, Gibbs is the best player on this football team. Gibbs might actually be the best player in the NFL.
Oh yeah, like I was saying, the key to that game will be if Jameer Gibbs can run the ball. The Vikings are a top defense against the run, and if they can find a way to get Jameer Gibbs involved in the game, whether that's in the short passing game or he breaks a couple of big runs, that'll be the difference in the game. It's the strength against strength. Their run game against a really tough run defense in the Vikings. So, I mean, you can throw on the Vikings. It's just if you can establish that run and control the game, that'll be the key for the Lions, and I think they can find a way to do it, man. So. I'm taking the Lions all the way. I'll bet them straight up this week for sure.
Is there any other games for this weekend that you wanna harp on a little bit?
Well, we talked about the Bengals, man. The Bengals Steelers. The Bengals are favorites in Pittsburgh.
But do the Steelers have anything to play for?
Yeah, they're seeding. It's the difference between going to Houston or going to Baltimore, basically, for the Steelers, potentially. And which would you rather do? The Texans are not a good football team, man. I mean, so like,
yeah, because the Packers are playing for whether or not they go
6 or 7, 6
the
or 7,
Rams,
right?
Whether or not they go to the Rams or they go to The Eagles. Yeah, that's
No, the Buccaneers. Right? Yeah.
what?
No. Yeah, no, the Lions and the Vikings are playing for who plays the Buccaneers
Yeah,
versus
the
yeah.
Packers are playing for whether or not they play the Rams or the Eagles.
Yeah, and the 6 or 7 seed, right?
Yeah.
Between or no, or the yeah, the yeah, and
Yes.
the
Yes.
Commanders could potentially
The race for the 6 seed. If you get the
yeah.
6 seed, you play the
Yeah.
Rams.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the 7 seed, you go to Philly,
Yeah,
which
it's a
is
big difference. It's a
yeah,
big
that's
difference.
going to Philly in winter.
Listen, I don't think the Packers. I'm sure they're worried, and they're going to play really hard in this game, which is why the Bears are going to lose pretty handily. But I mean, the Bengals Steelers game, I think, has the most implications besides that Lions Vikings game because the Bengals need a win, obviously, and then they need some help. They need the Broncos to lose against the Chiefs team that's not really going for it. They're going to play Carson Wentz in this game. So, I mean, that's another game that matters too, because if the Broncos lose, which I could totally see happening, and the Bengals beat the Steelers, then the Bengals end up in the playoffs, man.
You think the Broncos lose to Carson Wentz?
I think the Broncos could. I think they really could. I think it's a possibility.
They don't at all.
It's so then the Bengals don't have a chance.
No.
No. Okay. Well, last week you said that. Or last time we talked, you said they did.
Well, before I knew
yeah.
the Chiefs were sitting everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes the teams decide to play. Man.
Listen, the Chiefs are a team that just finds ways to win no matter what. So I would not put it past them to beat the Broncos.
No,
really
Mahomes is a guy who finds ways to win. Carson
No,
Wentz
it's that whole team, man. So we'll see how it goes. But I think the fact that the Bengals are favored in Pittsburgh is stupid. I think that's for Mike Tomlin to feast on shit like that. I'm at home and I'm an underdog against an 8-8 team. Mike Tomlin, I think, is gonna. I think the Steelers win that game. To be quite honest, I don't think it even comes down to if the Broncos lose or not. I think the Steelers just win that game outright because they're a better football team than the Bengals. But I think it'll be a good game.
So we have the Steelers, Bengals. We have the Lions, Vikings. Not really. There's nothing really else that makes a big impact over. Obviously these teams, the Bengals, the Dolphins, they need to win. I mean, I think the Dolphins play the Raiders.
Oh shit! Don't the Bengals need the Dolphins to lose too?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. That's what I was
And
telling you when you asked me that headline deadline. That
and I think the Dolphins
last time
play
we
the
talked,
Raiders.
Yeah, no, no, it's divisional. They don't play the Raiders. They play the Jets. It's all divisional games.
Which is a W.
Yeah.
The Jets team is atrocious, dude.
Yes, Bruce. Joe Walter says the Rams are not tough. They're the Bengals of the NFC. Except they don't have an offense. The Rams have not been scoring points. The Rams look like shit. I mean, the defense is what's been carrying them. To be quite honest.
Independent Aquaman says Cliff, the Bears prop was not keeping the ball. Okay. Dustin, I want to ask you. Let's move on from our around the NFL here. What is the Bears' problem?
What is the Bears' problem?
Why is yes?
We're 45 minutes.
Dustin, you've been watching this team for as long as you have been. What is the Bears' problem? Why are the Bears so dysfunctional?
I think it all comes down to ego, to be quite honest, of ownership in terms of not wanting to be challenged. We've talked about it before. Mike Ditka scared the shit out of ownership when he was here, a guy that became bigger than the franchise. I think they kind of decided they don't want something like that ever again. And I think that's what's led to lame duck coaches, inept dudes being put in these positions because they'll toe the line for the organization instead of making their own mark and making their own way and taking the organization with them. I think reports listen, it's rumors, but the reports are coming out today are that Ryan Poles is trying to steer the Bears away from Ben Johnson because he's basically afraid that it would cost him his job if they were to hire Ben Johnson. So it's like decisions like that are why the Bears suck, man. Are why the Bears have these problems. It's because guys are like a guy like Bill Belichick would never be an option for the Bears because his personality, he would be too big for the Bears to handle, to manage. But he's a guy that can actually take your team in a direction that could help it win. So it's like this catch-22. We don't want that guy. We want to be successful, but we don't want the guy that's going to put their balls on the table and say, this is how we do it. Now get the fuck out of my way. I think that's the biggest issue with the Bears and has been for some time.
Well, we always talk about this yes man when we talk about our head coach, Dustin.
Joe
Is
Walter
our
says,
general manager a yes man?
what's that?
Is our general manager a yes man?
I don't know. I think he's gonna become one. If he gets into self-preservation mode, we're fucked. If the Bears decide to keep him because he is that yes man, and he gets into I gotta make decisions that are gonna make my job safe, he's going to make bad decisions. He's going to make the decisions for the wrong reasons, and it's going to lead to bad results. That's what I believe.
If he
So I
plays
mean,
safe, yeah.
if you play, not even, yeah. I mean, listen, I think playing it safe would be hiring Mike Vrabel and saying, "Hey, you go do your thing. That's what's going to help us win." That's what I think playing it safe would be. If you're trying to keep a person, if you want a person that's going to not take light from you because they're not good enough at their job to do so, you're trying to preserve your own job. You know, like that. If I'm hiring somebody, man, I want them to be someone that would want to take my job. Like that's the person that's going to bust their ass for you. They're going to bust their ass for your organization, your company, whatever it is, because they want to move up. You know what I'm saying? They want to be successful. If you're afraid of people like that because you're worried about your own job, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I do think that if Poles did honestly ask for an interview with Harbaugh and somebody told him no, and that was the end of the conversation, I think that's what we're dealing with top to bottom, right? It's just there's nobody in this organization who's willing to stand up to this organization because this organization won't hire somebody who has that quality, right?
Yeah. It
That's your
seems like they're
problem.
afraid of it.
And
It
that's your
seems like
problem
they're afraid of it.
is to hire somebody who's bigger than you, who can come in here and change the way this place. And you know what's crazy, Dustin, is that's the only way you're gonna get that successful individual, right? The only way you're gonna get that decade-long coach, the guy who's here forever, who continuously brings you to the playoffs, is if it's somebody who we're gonna talk about day and night, right? Like who's somebody who's gonna be different from what you've had. When the Bears won the 5 games at the end of last year, nobody talks about Matt Eberflus. Like it's just this Bears team continues every time we do a handful of interviews, and I actually like some of the candidates we interview, like I did last year, Kingsbury for offensive coordinator. Some name always pops up of some person that it's just a left field. You know what I mean? It's some hire you never heard of that nobody else interviewed. This is my biggest issue with the Bears. They hire the guy that was interviewed by like 2 other teams instead of the guy that's gotten like 14 interviews in the offseason. Right? And that alone is just ass backwards practice to success, right? Like,
Well, it's like,
let's do what everybody else is not doing.
well, that would be hiring Josh McCown, right?
Yeah,
Like what
right.
Shorty was talking
But
about
like
earlier. Like
it's not hiring a
you're
Jim
gonna be
Harbaugh.
smarter than everybody else.
Yeah, it's not hiring a Jim Harbaugh. It's not allowing a Jim Harbaugh interview to occur. Like telling Ryan Poles, no, that is a recipe for a losing culture. To tell your general manager, yeah, there's this guy who's won everywhere he goes. He's won a college championship. He went to a Super Bowl the last time he coached in the NFL. We don't want to talk to that guy though.
Well,
That you're
if
just
it's
turning
true that
away.
Poles wanted Jim Harbaugh when he was available and was told no, then that would suggest that Poles is not afraid of a big personality and a guy that's going to challenge him. Because
Oh, I
Jim
have no
Harbaugh
doubt that
is that
Poles
person.
wants a guy that's going to succeed. I think Poles
Yeah. So, but
wants a
like, but now the
successor.
reporting is so that's what I'm saying. Those two things don't jive. Like, you can't have both. You can't say Ryan Poles went to Kevin Warren and said, "I want to take a look at Jim Harbaugh," and Ryan Poles said, and Kevin Warren said, "Jim's not an option here." That's what's been reported by Dan McNeil, right? That's what Bears fans are jumping on. But now, if you want to jump on the fact that he's trying to steer them away from Ben Johnson because he's afraid that that will cost him his job, how do both of those things line up? Ryan Poles wanted a guy that would be the ultimate personality in the room. Jim Harbaugh will dominate any conversation. That guy is a complete ball of energy, man. And he
Narcissist.
yeah, and
Most leaders are. Yeah.
yeah, and he will take control of any room he's in. So it's like you can't have both, you know what I'm saying? So like I don't know what to believe of all these reports, but I do know that the results have not been there for the Chicago Bears, and there's something wrong with their process. And if you empower a guy like Ryan Poles to make those decisions, you have to let him make them. You have to let him make them. You can't keep him from moving on from Matt Eberflus if he thought that that was the smart thing to do in that situation. You can't. So I mean, I guess it's possibly true that at that point he wanted to go to Jim Harbaugh, but now I just got to preserve my job type of thing. Like I don't know. I don't think we know enough about Ryan Poles. I really don't. I mean, and that's weird. It's been 3 years he's overseen this team, and I don't think I don't really know Ryan Poles. I don't know how to grade him. I don't know how to judge him. I don't know what kind of person he is. I don't know if he's a yes man or not. I really can't answer that question, man. He gives off vibes like he's confident in the decisions he makes.
Like he's in charge.
Uh-huh. But at the same time, what's he in charge of? He's in charge of a fucking sinking ship. We can only judge him on his results.
Well, what's he in charge of if he's saying I want to talk to Jim Harbaugh and they're like, no, you're not in charge of anything.
So then that becomes the chicken or the egg conversation. Like what comes first? You know what I'm saying? Like, is Ryan Poles just not a good GM, or is it impossible to be a good GM for the Chicago Bears?
Yeah.
How do we even answer that question?
Yeah, and will the Bears only ever hire the wrong guy as GM, right? The yes man. So I guess we can dive a little bit into this game, Dustin. Bears Packers. Week 15.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's an opportunity for the Bears to beat the Green Bay Packers. If you win this game.
Let me ask you this. What's better for the Bears' future? Like I said to you, they can't really move back in the draft. They can move back one spot.
I don't really see a path for them moving up either, though.
What's better with the Bears' future? That Caleb Williams beats his division rival on the season finale, or that they lose to have a better draft pick?
I think the draft position is going to be irrelevant because the teams that are ahead of them are all playing good teams that need to win games. So like there's not going to be a lot of space to move up, and like you said, there's not a lot of space to move back. You're kind of set in that range that you're going to be picking in, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams getting a win on the road against a divisional opponent that's going to the playoffs is worth a lot more than those 2 spots in the draft, I think. I think you got to really come out here and try to win this game, and I think that's what Bears fans should be rooting for. But at the end of the day, I'm not sitting here feeling like the Bears even have a chance in this game. The Packers need this game. We've already discussed that. This game means nothing to the Bears besides pride and what can we carry into next season. And can we get a little positive momentum going and not lose 11 games straight? I don't feel good about the Bears' chances, but you got to come out here and try to win. You have to. I mean, everybody has something to play for in terms of putting good film on tape, you know. And I don't know, man. There's just not a lot of plus side to losing, and maybe you gain a spot or 2 in draft position. It would be great to see the Bears win and screw the Packers. I agree, Cliff Victoria. I agree. Poles lost my respect at that presser. The Bears will draft.
I think it would be better for their future if they win this game. I think it'd be better for Caleb's future if they
The
win
future
this
is
game.
Caleb. The future is Caleb. Can Caleb build some confidence? Right? Like that. Can Caleb show something in this game that we haven't seen? What we've seen the last few weeks from Jaden Daniels has been amazing. It's been
Yeah,
amazing.
he's going to kick off next season on fire. You know what I
He's
mean?
been playing his ass off. He's been making plays when they need to be made in order to win games against good teams. Good teams. The Caleb hasn't been in that position once. I would just love to see Caleb in a competitive game, win the games on the line, have the opportunity to make those plays, and show the NFL that he can do it. Show Bears fans that he can
Well,
do
he
it,
has,
and
Dustin.
show himself that he can do it. Man,
He
that's the
has.
most important
I'd
thing.
love to see him do it, and then they win. That's what I'd love to see.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
done
he's
that.
done it in a couple situations, but it's like it's always felt like the odds were stacked against him in those things. You never felt like the Bears were going to win those games, man. Like even when we were watching those the kick that could tie the game or win the game, we are like, oh, this is going to go badly, and it did. And it's just like I would like to see Caleb in a competitive game against a good team and actually perform well. And it means something. That's I want to see that, and
I think if he
and hopefully we
performed,
get a chance.
I think if he beat this Packers team, it would mean a lot, especially since the Bears have nothing to play for. They come out and beat a team like the Packers, which I'm not stating, guys, in any way, shape, or form that they will. That's not my prediction in this game. Is not the Bears win, but if they did, it would mean a lot because they don't have to. They don't have to go out there and play.
Yeah, and the reality is this team is going to change a lot this offseason. It is. It is. Caleb is going to be the main constant from this season to next season. So it's all about Caleb and his confidence
Yeah, they're
level
going to
in this
draft a left
organization
tackle.
going into next season.
So Ryan Poles' first round picks will have been a right tackle, a wide receiver, a quarterback, and I'm guessing he's going to draft a left tackle. So
That's what Joe Walters says here.
He's taking his first round picks. He's trying to address the offense with his first round picks, which takes a long time, guys. If that's the way you're
Take
going
it
to
easy,
rebuild your
Aquaman.
offense.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aquaman. Happy New Year. If that's the way you're going to rebuild your offense through first round picks, it's going to take some time.
Yeah. How many years do you get? Listen, like we were saying earlier, when it comes to polls, man, you don't know him as a person, really. He's behind closed doors. He's doing all this. I mean, they had Hard Knocks that gave you a little bit of a glimpse into him, but still, not even that much. That the access was still limited in regards to that. You can only judge him on his results. And how much grace do you give a guy? He took over a tough situation in terms of the cap, in terms of the players that were on this team, the contracts that needed to be moved, and the draft capital that you had at the time. He's improved some of those things. He improved the cap. He improved the draft capital that this team had. He made some good trades that led to getting Caleb Williams and having 2 first-round picks in this most recent draft.
Out.
Yeah, but you can only judge him on the results, man. And if this team wins 4 games this season after winning 7 games last season and winning 3 games the season before, those results are not good. Those are not good results.
Well, yeah, and you want to talk about being a yes man. This guy traded Justin Fields for a lesser pick, which is just it's
the
like
worst move.
It's like the government telling you your tax dollars are being contributed to something you're completely against. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like as a fan. Like, oh, we got a 3rd round pick, but we took a 6 because that's where Fields wanted to go. Like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, no,
as
that was complete negligence.
As an invested fan of this team, I'm like very confused of what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, I was very disappointed by that when that was reported. Cliff says Pole's biggest negative is failing at hiring coaches. He needs to fix that. I mean, that he's going to get his opportunity this year by all accounts. And Cliff, my question for you is, do you trust Poles to fix that? Is he going to pick the right guy? That's the question for everybody in the chat, guys. Tell us what you think, man. Because, like, I don't.
Yeah, because
I don't trust him to make
there's
this
not a lot of
decision.
jobs at a lot of industries where you fail at something and they're like, you're the person we elect to fix it. Like, it's just, I don't.
I've been saying this for 2 years, man, with Ryan Poles. It's like this guy gets more credit for fixing mistakes he's made than anybody I've ever seen in any profession. It's ridiculous.
I know. Remember the day we traded Chase Claypool? It was like everything I read was like Poles confronts like Poles, unlike other former Bears GMs, he faces his own mistakes and owns up to it. It's like, well, wait a sec. We're
Yeah,
overlooking like he did make the
the
mistake though.
original
Like, yeah,
mistake. Yeah,
yeah, we
yeah.
kind of forgot about. We're like praising his reaction to his mistake
Who
without
was
ever
the backup
acknowledging
quarterback that he
that he
gave
made
$3
a
million?
mistake.
Who
Yeah,
was the
like
backup quarterback he gave $3 million? What was
PJ
that guy's
Walker.
PJ Walker? Yeah.
Yeah,
And he got so much credit for cutting him and going with Tyson Bagent.
I
But it's
know.
like,
Yeah, they were like,
you fucking gave this guy all this money
well,
and he didn't
people
even make
like
it to the season
good for Poles to not be
to
stubborn enough to
recognize his
keep the guy you
mistakes.
paid. Like, no,
Yeah.
yeah, but bad on Poles for paying the
For
guy.
paying
Yeah,
him in the first
yeah.
place, because like you can't do that.
Yeah,
Those
why?
mistakes start to
Yeah,
catch
no, you're
up
right,
with him,
Dustin.
man.
Poles has been the most sugar-coated general manager in all of sports, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Everything he
gotten a
does,
lot of
it's like,
leeway.
well, he did this to fix it. Yeah, but why is he fixing anything? Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? What
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
GMs out there that aren't fixing their mistakes, that are just not making them? You know?
No, or at least not making these big ones that you see biting you in the ass
Yeah, like
repeatedly.
Velus Jones and Chase Claypool. Yeah, and not drafting Jalen Carter. Things like and drafting Fields for less, like and
Trading
trading
fields
Fields
for
for
less. Yeah,
less. Yeah,
yeah. Cliff thinks Poles is going to do his best to find the right guy. No idea if he succeeds. It's not about your what do you, are you confident in him to make this decision? Do
yeah.
you
No,
want
yeah,
Poles
you
to
can't
make
say
the
Cliff. You
decision?
can't say no idea. Unfortunately, as a fan, it's your responsibility to have an idea whether or not he should be successful in making any decisions.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Like I
Based off
personally
based off
don't
the
want
body
Poles
of
to make this
work.
decision. I want him
Based
gone.
off the body of work, is Ryan Poles the person you trust? A,
Mm-hmm.
to not only hire your next head coach, but B, draft make
In the first round
make your
again.
next first round draft selection, which could be the ninth overall pick, which is where he could have drafted Jalen Carter. This is the same pick in which I firmly believe still to this day that he completely
Botched.
blundered. Yeah,
Botched completely,
right.
dude.
So
Okay. I
we're
can't.
looking at the ninth pick again. So can Poles not only hire a head coach, can this guy draft the best talent available to him?
Can this guy rebuild? Listen, Kyle brought it up on our show, however long ago, about how he rebuilt that offensive line in KC in one season. Can he do that here in Chicago? And if it was a focus for him in KC, why hasn't it been a focus for him in Chicago? Have the moves that he's made him think that he's
With the
addressing the offensive line?
with a rookie quarterback. So if you think DJ Moore was extended, if you think about this, so if you don't trade for Keenan
Joe
Allen and you
Walters
don't
don't want
draft,
Poles to make the decision.
you don't trade for Keenan Allen, you don't draft Roman Dunze, and you draft your offensive line, you still have DJ Moore, right? Like receiver was the last thing this team needed to address
Mm-hmm.
twice in the offseason.
Yeah, man. There's a lot up in the air going into this offseason. The Bears are going to finish out their season at Lambeau Field, man. Um, we'll we'll see how they perform in this game. You'll take a lot out of just if they compete. Just if they compete. If they come out and get their asses beat, then you know that this is a team that's quit, and you need to make wholesale changes across the board in a lot of areas. If they come out and fight hard and play like this fucking game matters and like they got some pride about playing for the Chicago Bears, then at least you can feel a little confident in some of the guys we're carrying over into next season, man. But I don't think anybody on this team should be safe. I don't think anybody on this team should be safe, man, except Caleb Williams. That's it. So
Well, and Jalen, their Pro Bowler, Jalen Johnson. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
yeah, here, man. We're going to see this team go into how many most important off seasons in Bears history can we have? Can we just actually just go about our business and do things the right way? Really, a guy like Vrabel changes your team's identity just by being in the building. As soon as he walks in the building, your team's identity changes. You just don't overthink this shit. Just pick the right guy for your head coach. Pick a guy that's going to be a culture setter for your team. You have multiple examples just this season and how well that works for teams. How well that works for teams. And I mean, we can't expect this to happen like this, man. I think if you're sitting here, Brandon, thinking that the Bears can be competitive in this division next year, you're lying to yourself again. Bears fans we got over our skis going into this season. We knew this division was going to be really fucking good, and we drank the Kool-Aid. But I'm not doing that again this offseason, bro. This Bears team is going to be last in the NFC North next year too. But it's really important that you pick the right guy that's going to turn this thing around. I don't want Ryan Poles to be a part of that. I don't think that he's earned that. I think that your performance at your job should dictate. What are you laughing at?
Keep going.
I think that your performance at your job should dictate whether or not you keep that job. If you're not performing well, then what right do you have to maintain that position? There's a lot of guys out there that could do this job, guys. So and these GMs know it, and these coaches know it too. So if you're not successful, then what are you doing? And why are we defending polls? There's nothing to defend. I defended him this year at multiple points, and I don't know fucking why. I really don't know why. I can't really think of why anymore. I don't have it in me anymore to defend this organization.
I agree with you, man. I'd prefer somebody else be leading this coaching search. It seems like Kevin Warren did kind of confirm that Poles will be here and he will be leading this search. As Dustin aforementioned, we talked about it on the show that didn't record for some reason. I already don't like Ryan Poles' list of potential coaching candidates. I really don't. I like he's one of his two. I like Ben Johnson. I like Mike Vrabel. I don't like anybody else on that list. I don't like Glenn. I don't like Flores. I don't like Brown.
There's people saying Flores is at the top of Poles' list.
Liam Cohen should be somewhere on this list. I don't know.
Did you hear me? There's reports out there that Flores is Poles' guy because of the relationship he has with Flores. That should tell you, if that's true, then we're fucked. If that's true, this organization and us as fans, we're fucked. Listen, Flores could end up being a decent head coach with his second opportunity. I don't like the way that sounds. That just sounds like more of the same. Just like, oh, let's get my buddy in here. I don't want a guy that's going to challenge me, that's going to make me look like I'm not doing my job well. That's going to want a GM of that.
Yeah, I need a guy I can fire when it all goes bad again. Yeah.
Or I need my buddy in here who's not going to challenge me. You know, like that. No. That's ass backwards, man. If Flores is really at the top of Poles' list, that's really concerning, man. That's really concerning to me. And again, it's not on merit because Flores has had a really good season. He has as a defensive, 2 really good seasons in a row as the defensive coordinator for the Vikings. He's earning that, but you shouldn't let Poles bring him in. You shouldn't, just based on the fact that they have a relationship that will impact his decision making. It will.
Well, let me give a shout out, man, to River Street, 102 North River Street, East Dundee. Guys, go check them out. Kyle's the bartender there. He'll make you a cocktail. $2 burgers on Wednesday nights. Can't get that at McDonald's. Guys, go check out River Street Tavern, 102 North River Street, East Dundee. Dustin, you got anything else you want to hammer out?
Joe Walter says he disagrees. The NFL's year to year. You can see the Vikings falling apart, and golf isn't young. I'm not predicting the Bears to win the division, but nothing is for sure. Yeah, you do see teams go from the bottom to the top. I just don't see it in this division, guys. If you're
teams go from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, but if you're predicting this division next year, man, just with the information you have in front of you right now, how could you predict the Bears to finish better than third?
Well, no, I think he's saying that a team might pull like a 49ers this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Might just fall apart.
Injuries happen, all those things happen. I'm just saying, with the information we have right now, there's no way I would pick the Bears to be anywhere near the top of this division next year. Just with the information we have right now. There's a whole offseason that needs to happen. There's a lot of decisions that need to be made. And then there's still football to be played too. So obviously things could change. But with the information I have right now, I don't see any way the Bears could win this division next year. I really don't.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
Yeah. But here,
Joe, Cliff, Bruce,
we had Independent
Quaxley,
Aquaman in here,
Quaxley,
Quaxon. Yeah. Who else? There was somebody else I thought, but Bearski was in here earlier. Yeah. Everybody, Shorty was in here earlier.
Aunt Mass said what's up.
Aunt Mass said what's up. Happy New Year. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. Yes, FGB. Listen, hopefully the Bears get a win this Sunday. I'm not predicting it. Do we want to do scores?
Sure. Throw it out there, Dustin.
Listen, the Packers are gonna beat the hell out of the Bears. I think we're looking at like a 27-10 type of game. The Packers need this. The Bears don't. Packers are a much better team than the Bears. I don't think it's close. 27-10 is me being kind of nice, I think.
I'm saying 24-13.
Okay.
And yeah, guys, that's.
Hey, Joe, thanks, man. We got a new follower. Enjoyed the show. He'll be back. Hell yeah, Joe
subscribe
Walters.
For us. I appreciate you. Yeah. Well, I guess that's what following is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying he subscribed. Thanks, Joe, man. We appreciate the hell out of you for that. No, I'm glad you enjoyed the show.
He's got 38-14, and I was going to say something closer to that, to be honest.
Packers 38, Bears 14. Joe's on the same. Yeah, there's just no way the Bears win this game. Hammer that. You can bet the Packers with the spread all day. You can even tease it up a little bit if you want. The Bears are not gonna compete in this game. I really hope they do. I would love to see it. I want to see Caleb Williams finish on a strong note. But I'm not predicting that shit, man. Brandon, it's been fun, man. Love you, bud.
As always, a pleasure.
Hey guys, we'll put some more content out maybe this weekend, but definitely on Monday. We appreciate everybody for being here. Hit that like button before you get out of here if you haven't already. And bear down. Enjoy your weekend. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope it's a great year. I hope all your resolutions, stick with them, guys. Everything that you want to accomplish this year, we can make it happen. Shout out to Kyle and Sean. 4-Star Chicago Sports. Hopefully we have a strong year this year. We just broke 200 subscribers, so that's an accomplishment. We were pretty happy about that. So a guy like Joe Walters jumping in and hitting the subscribe button, that means a lot to us, man. Love getting those organic subs. It's my favorite feeling. So yeah, this has been the bare minimum. Bear down. Have a great night, everyone.